Hello and welcome to the show today. I am glad to have Miss Nicole Lichner on today. Hey, how are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad you accepted the call to come on the show today and talk about your issues in your community. And let's talk about a little bit who you are and how long you've been in Rockdale County.
My name is Nicole Lichner. I actually hail from Michigan. I moved here about 3 years ago, back in 2021. Um, I grew up small town Michigan, graduated out in LA, did some hotel management in Montana, Bozeman. Um,
Fine.
Claims adjuster for almost a decade. Did some claims work with Farmers
Yeah.
Insurance and long history of social justice work as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I saw in your other program all this stuff you did. And I'm like, wow, I have to get her on the show here because that's what we're trying to do here and trying to protect people here in Rockdale County and get a better life for them.
Absolutely. It's necessary, and
Yeah.
it's a
All right.
beautiful place. We fell in love with it the moment we came here, and
It
then
is.
it's been kind of hectic
Mm-hmm.
for like the last year or so. So, yeah.
Right. So I am going to play the video that all this got started from, and then you got famous a little bit from it. So let's play it from there, and you can talk about it from there.
Okay. Why, you ask? There is a development on Highway 138 where there are 215 townhomes going in, and they left no type of buffer zone. They left no type of security for our subdivision. They came in and they plowed it all to the ground. We came to the county with no help for a month, no responses, no answers, no anything from stormwater, the commissioners, code enforcement. We begged. There are 10 homes right now that all have foundation issues. The Browns have put out $32,000 and counting. My husband and I just took out a $25,000 loan with 5 children. I am a cancer patient. I have not worked in 10 years. I'm also a former claims adjuster. I'm no bum. I've worked with Patrice Cullors with Black Lives Matter, Leisha Brooks with the Southern Poverty Law Center, the National Conference for Community Injustice, the Shoah Foundation, which was ran by Steven Spielberg. I've done 2 documentaries of such. I have lived for my community. I have been in bed for 2 months because I got COVID a few months ago, and I've had little to no energy. However, I am here today. I'm here today because the county has offered us absolutely no help and basically told us the law was all we had.
Ms. Lichner, I want to say thank you for coming out. It's good to put a face with the name in person. Thank you for coming.
You had my face. You blocked me on Facebook.
I certainly did. Thank you for coming out this morning. If you want to hear, if you came for a solution, because let me say this to you. This is a little different than what I've been doing over the last couple of years, but I'm going to give you my closing remarks in just a second. But let me just say this to you. Several of our directors in Rockdale County, and this is gave you an opportunity so you could speak this morning during public comment. But now I want you to listen to it because I believe that you are a strong advocate. In fact, your closing remarks included 3 organizations that you have been a strong, proud advocate. And one thing I know about an advocate, they want results. So stay with me. An advocate is looking for results. You came in here this morning to get results. I want you to pay attention because I am the strongest advocate in all of Rockdale County. So watch this. Stand up, Deputy Director Johnson. Director Kelly. Director Njoku. Deputy Director Davis. Chief McDaniel. You see, these people are professionals with credentials. And this board is well aware of the situation in Mountain Valley subdivision. And last night, because everybody in here knows that I'm a frequent visitor, thank you staff, you can have a seat, of Publix. Last night, as I made my way
Oh,
home,
Sophie.
I
Yeah.
stopped in Publix and I saw my old former neighbor,
Miss Lowe.
Miss Lowe, and she shared with me a different account. Now, I've already been in Mountain Valley. I've been on Pine Knoll Road.
You lived there, yeah.
I sure did for 11 long years, and I know the majority of the people that are there. Here's what I'm saying to you this morning. If you're still interested in results and doing things the right way, as I mentioned earlier, we have a website. There's an office around the corner. We have an opportunity for folks to come in and communicate with us and talk to us about how to go through the policies and procedures where we can make a difference. Let me finish.
I'll let you
Let-
finish,
let-
but
let
as
me
long
finish.
as I can rebuttal to that.
No, ma'am, this is not a debate. I wanted to make sure as we heard you.
Because we've done that.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. You've not been to my office. You have not physically been in my office where we can sit down and have a conversation about how to find solutions beyond my staff that just stood up, who's all been there and verified the information. What I can't do as the chairman and the CEO of this county,
I won't argue.
I cannot allow anyone to come in and put out misinformation about what's going on.
Because we've come into your county offices and your people went out the door.
Let me share with you. I'm
Terry
not in the
Simpkins
debate.
went out the door. We've come into code enforcement, and they told us to come back, that you guys were in meetings. We've come in numbers, and I don't know what you gave, what Sophie said, but we have been waiting. Your Sherry Commissioner, your post commissioner came out, and she offered to use taxpayer monies off the books to shut me up.
Well,
so what I don't understand, and that was through Howard Campbell.
I'm not going to shut you up, but
So
I'm telling you
what
this
I'm saying is
conversation
we have
over.
gone months since
Ms.
February,
Lichner,
sir.
You can make your way around to my office, and you can schedule an opportunity to come sit down and talk.
Sir,
if you're the advocate that I know that you are, and you're interested in a
several
solution.
times, and you can respond this way in front of your staff. You can, but I have my emails, my phone records to prove that I've come to your office specifically.
Well,
I have come to your first post commissioner. She's been out to my home and been in my home specifically. So don't.
Thank you, Ms.
And I will
Lichner,
walk
and
away.
thank
And
you for
have a
all
great
that you
day.
do on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. The next speaker is.
Wow. So there's a few things in there I'd like to talk about. Number one, you talked about you've been to his office and the way. How did he respond when you come to him specifically when you went to about your problems?
Every time we've gone into offices, we are told that everyone that we're looking for, including him, aren't in meetings or they're not specifically in the offices. And then we could request by email to come in and schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Corliss sent over those emails to you, but
Yeah, I got 'em.
as you can see, we were sending
Mm-hmm.
numerous emails from March until now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so there
Right.
was absolutely no way. He was CC'd ever since March. I contacted him
Mm-hmm.
directly. I even went to his Facebook. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
he responded publicly and said, you simply just have to call me, and gave his number publicly. So I did within 2 seconds. Still did not get a response. I waited a week, and that's when I reached out to Sherry Washington. And then it took me going to her Facebook to even get a response. And it was just kind of like, can you please remove it? I'll come out, but can you please remove all of this off my page?
Right.
And so, and it wasn't anything attacking either. It was more so like, we need your assistance here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
So he amended on there when you said he blocked you. So I guess he blocked you from his Facebook.
not his personal pages.
Yeah.
I have access to all his personal pages still. He blocked me specifically from the Commissioner Oz Nesbitt page, the one that he does his government work from, which is against the First Amendment. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. And you still hadn't got any solutions. So
I contacted him.
And he wants you to come to his office. But
yeah, before I even went into that meeting, I called him twice. Okay, because he told my neighbor the day before, hey, have her call me like he did on Facebook publicly. All she has to do is call me. So When she gave me that next morning, it was the morning of that meeting. I called at 7:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m. I left detailed messages and say, hey, Oz, it doesn't have to go this big. We came with the solution. He says that we haven't been trying to get solutions. When we came with our problem, we gave him a solution. We're not even trying to fully even stop that as long as we're sound over here. So get some sonograms out here. Yeah.
And then you talked about Sherry Washington was going to give taxpayer money to you to shut you up. Tell us a little bit about that.
So after I kind of called them out about the tornadoes, and I sent that email out to you as well. They said that they were going to get try to get grant funding here to see if they can utilize that. But then Sherry was told the county didn't want to assume any liability over here. That if we wanted to do anything, if we wanted anything to happen, we needed to get a lawyer and file an injunction. Okay. And I said, we can't afford our tens of thousands of dollars worth of damages. What makes you think we can afford that? You know? So she called me that evening because I said, Sherry, I'm not going to stop. I'm not stopping until we get this taken care of. And if that means making sure that nothing because it's happening all over the county. It's not just us. So, and they're the ones making these decisions. So obviously it's time for new leadership. So she called me back that evening about 4:00. I believe it April 11th and said, hey, I'm going to work out something for you specifically. Now, I asked her, I said, but Sherry, I'm not the only one with damages. I'm not the only sick person. I'm not the only one with children, right? And I'm not the only one suffering financial hardships. She says, well, we have this grant, he does all of our grants, Howard Campbell, I'm going to have him reach out to you, right? After I explained all of that. So when Howard called me, she said it would be a Friday, but it wasn't. I didn't get a call. So I just said another one of her promises or that just aren't following through. And Howard Campbell called and he was kind of confused. You can tell he was kind of like, what is the situation here? And he says, well, Sherry Washington wanted me to reach out to you and take care of you. And I said, well, it's not just me. And he said, what? He said, explain to me what's going on. And I explained it, kind of the whole scenario as you heard in the other podcasts. And he says, well, that's way beyond what I have scope for or what I was even aware of. That's not what she told me. I thought it was just you. And he says, I'm not even willing to even go there. He says, I don't know if you're aware of this, but she told me to take care of you off the book. And I said, the goal, because I pay taxes, okay? And I don't take kindly to taxpayer money and use the books because if you're doing it for this situation, right? I was the squeaky wheel. They my other neighbors don't know which way to go. They're just kind of stuck. This stuff, I'm used to this arena. I'll take it on. And I told Howard, Howard, little does she know she got the right one, but the wrong one at the same time, because this is a community issue. And he said, this goes beyond, who cares about the lawsuit at this point, as far as if the county can be sued by the developers. He said, we really, really, really need, this is an issue of humanity at this point for our taxpayers. So he said he was going to reach back out to Simpkins. 10 days later, I got a text saying that, hey, Terrence Simpkins is going to reach out to you with the resolution. That was April 24th. It is now June 16th, and we have yet to hear from any other county official since then.
Well, somebody just posted something in the comments saying, contact attorney Gray Brantley from the law firm of Anderson. He specializes in working with homeowners and HOAs and stormwater problems caused by developers. So maybe you can contact him and get something done and maybe get some pro bono work. I don't know.
Hopefully. I mean, and it's really sad because like we told the county, we have no intention on suing the county. Our issue is come take care of your storm drains. They're filled with sediment and
Mm-hmm.
silt. We have man-made creeks that are overflowing into our streets and creating rivers, literal rivers through our neighbors' yards. And
Mm.
it's just completely just eroding everything. We have across the street from me, those are the properties that line that development. And their backyards along their
Okay.
fence line are eroding into each other. And so
Wow. Interesting.
it's a hassle
Yeah, I'm
because
sure it,
it
it
flooded out at
go ahead.
the lower end
Mm.
first, and then it's hitting all the grading points to the drainage system, and then it's all the after that, then all the other homes start to slowly oversaturate. We have rising
Mm.
groundwaters and way too much surface runoff from there not being vegetation or trees, and from them messing with our natural flow that was built to go with our subdivision.
Mm. Interesting. Because we have all these developments coming up, even all these uh, liquor stores and all these smoke shops coming up, and I mean it's too much here for this. We're the second smallest county in the state, landmass wise. We're not going to have any trees left over for, just natural, our beauty of Rockdale County.
Well, see, this is the other thing. It's not just that, not just the look. We have to look at the
Mm-hmm.
underground. We're
Right.
dealing
Right.
with
Yeah. That too. Yeah.
disturbing the water table. We're dealing with a
Mm-hmm.
mining state. We're dealing with red clay
Mm-hmm.
soil. Little thing about red clay soil is it's highly permeable, meaning water goes right in, nothing
Mm-hmm.
flows freely through it. So it
Mm.
saturates in sand almost. It will
Mm-hmm.
create cousins to quicksand where you start to get infiltrate wash away entirely. Okay. And so that's where you start to see sinkholes. And that's what we're at risk for over here. We have a lot of infiltrate wash away where you can literally hear it
Mm-hmm.
rumbling under your houses sometimes.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And so, where are you exactly in Rockdale? Are you in South Rockdale, or where is this?
This is right off of Highway 138. So the development sits on Highway 138, just past Two Eggs. And we are immediately behind it. I think I sent an email
Oh, okay.
that had
Gotcha.
the aerial view. If you notice, there was an aerial view email with all the houses marked. And that's just for my cove. There are 3 other coves that are on the other side of the subdivision that actually flooded out first. Those 10 houses that I speak of are just the ones within my block and the block behind me. When we did filming the other day, we found out that the other homes on the other side had started to flood out in February as well when the houses behind me did. See, they're all lower than my home. It's all hill behind that development. That development is on the side of the hill. The houses across the street from me are the top of the hill. Okay. And everything else goes like this around it. So they cut away this whole entire chunk and removed it from the hill. And that removed the dirt from us over here. So we not only have the ground and dirt moving and pushing this way, the dirt is actually our dirt from our neighbor's yard across the street is pushing onto the development over there. Okay. And that means that it's coming. The weight from our homes are going this way. And once they put weight that way, it's going to come this way. And we're just looking at a disaster all the way around the board. And it's not going to just be our subdivision. It's going to just splinter all the way around us.
Right. And right there at that place too is First Baptist Conyer. So I wonder if it's affecting them at all as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. So, they are slightly higher in elevation. Like we are literally from 138 down.
Right.
It goes completely downhill. And then the subdivision is built into the ground. So every home has a portion that's partially underground. And that's what's really getting us is because we have rising water,
And so let's talk about a little bit of your advocacy that you've been doing. You said you was filming earlier, so talk a little bit about that.
We actually filmed the neighbors. So the neighbors, that's partially why they aren't here with me today. I try to only take their time once a week. A lot of them have a lot of things going on. And so earlier this week, we took around and we went around so that they can see. So there is a video out with some of my neighbors as well, like
Okay.
O'Neill. He's out there with me, Mrs. Beasley. They are all walking through the neighborhoods and showing our development in our homes in our areas of just kind of how our yards and things are just disintegrating as we watch it. And it's quick, it's happening rapidly. Like with every heavy rain, it's just like a wash away, and more of our yards are just gone.
And I think there was another thing. Let's take a break right quick. I'm going to do another commercial, and we'll be right back and talk about that. All right? Give me 1 second.
Awesome.
People have asked me, who am I endorsing? Whose side am I on? I will tell you, I am on Tawanya Smith's side. I am endorsing Tawanya Smith. That is the candidate that I believe in, and you should as well. I am running because I want to make one Rockdale. I'm not running to represent one particular party or one particular community. I am running to represent all of Rockdale. I want all of Rockdale to be better. And I want to be a commissioner that will serve all of Rockdale. I will give a voice to citizens, all citizens of Rockdale County. I'm not running just for a position. I am running because I am on a mission for you. Vote Tawanya Smith, June 18th, Commissioner, Post 1.
All right, we are back, and so I want to talk about a little bit about voting. And voting day is June 18th. As everybody hadn't voted yet, we've been having early voting, and hopefully people have been going out voting. It starts June 18th, and it's at your local polling place. So if you don't know your polling place, please scan that code there, and it will tell you where your voting place is. So talk about change. What are you hoping in this next administration would change like this?
Well, I'm going to tell you, first off, if the current administration goes forward, we will have absolutely no voice. That is going to give them a level of emboldenment that's just beyond. Secondly, I have yet to meet someone like Tawanya. I mean, it's been since my Cali days where, the diehard activist.
Yeah.
I've met someone as pure as Smith. Her heart is just amazing.
Right.
And also, like Janice Vaness, I will say this.
Yes.
She was the first one to get us actual environmental contacts. We had been trying to reach out to George Kilpatrick, and she reached out to us. She came out and gave us that connect. He did come out. So going forward, I want to see more people like Tawanya Smith. That is what's needed. Yes, development is great, but what's development if there's no community? What's development if there's no humanity?
Right.
Development if our homes are crumbling and the homes that already exist are no longer going to outlive, what they're trying to build. And the crazy part about it is what they're trying to build won't last either because of the conditions in which they're
building them fast too.
Fast, and
they're building them fast and wanting them, getting people in.
Improper zoning practices, not enough environmental impact studies, no long lasting, where as it's going on, they're doing environmental impact studies. And then after they build these developments, it needs to be continued, not just for the development itself, but for the surrounding properties. And that needs to happen before you even rezone. There's no reason why that development should have went from a medium density to a high density. That property cannot sustain that much weight on a side of a hill. It's hillside, and so that's just where we are. I've had seismograms installed into my yard, and that's just not where we should be as citizens. So going forward, we really need to do everything that we can, even with our school board. Larry Cox, I'm trying to tell you, I homeschool. You see, I'm in my classroom. I am in my classroom right now. And that's because when I moved to Rockdale County, I said, there is no way I'm putting my kids wouldn't even go to the schools. They came from a school where it was rated 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And they looked at the ratings here and they were like, Mom, are you serious? And I literally just had
the kids said that. That's
my children were and I have an
Wow.
18. They're now 18 and 15. So at the time they were
Okay.
15 and 12. And at
Okay.
15 and
Wow.
12 they
Mm-hmm.
said there is no way.
Mm-mm.
And I said, you know what? Fine. I had to convert my formal living room into a full-blown classroom,
Yeah.
and that's what we do. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. We need
And the
better.
sad thing is, back in the day, like I've been here pretty much all my life, and my mom was raised here. She went to Rockdale County High School. It was different then. It has changed and went downhill since then. This is the sad part.
My cousin moved to the area about 15 years ago, and she has
Mm-hmm.
always ranted about the school district. So when we chose
Mm-hmm.
this area, we were thinking about all the rantings we heard when she first moved here, like it's going
Right.
to be a great school
Right.
district.
Right.
And when we
Mm-hmm.
came, we were like, wait, what is happening? This cannot be
Mm.
serious.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
then it took,
Mm-hmm.
when I registered my kids, I want to say in April for the following school year. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a call back until September. School had already been
Mm.
in for a month. And even then, they were still having troubles. They said it was going to be 2 months before they can get them into school because
Wow.
there was
Wow.
such an influx then. That was 3 years ago. So if you're
Mm.
building this 215 townhome, where are all these kids going to go to school? Because you can barely get the kids that are already here
Mm-hmm.
registered in class,
Exactly.
right? And then
Mm.
once you do,
Mm-hmm.
what true education are these children going to get? Right? The education is already
Right.
struggling.
Right.
So it's just,
Mm-hmm.
we need
And
better.
that's one of the things. I mean, they just built this new administration building for the BOE, and now we got that, and then we're going to have a new courthouse. I mean, like, and they're talking about the kids, but I don't think our schools are still, up to the par where they're going to have enough room in the schools. I
No,
remember when I went there, there was trailers, but I don't know if there's trailers now. But yeah.
I will tell you that I constantly get emails for staff needed
Mm-hmm.
for Rockdale County. They are
Mm.
constantly losing teachers. They are constantly in need of staff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard for me because I'm one of those ones,
Mm.
my kids' previous school, I knew the superintendent like this, first name basis.
Right.
And it's so hard for me to
Mm-hmm.
get connected on that aspect because I can't get behind miseducating our children. I can't get
Mm-hmm.
behind putting resources in places where there's not enough for these teens to get into here. You're worried about
Right.
all these
No.
coffee shops and liquor stores, but what about all the kids that you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring to the community? What do they
Exactly.
have?
Mm-hmm.
Where are the
They don't have
pools?
nothing
Where are
here.
the splash pads? And then you want to
Right.
charge us parking
Mm-hmm.
when we paid for it. We should at least, as the
Exactly.
county residents, get free.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I get fired up. I'm sorry, especially when it comes to the babies. You
No,
know what I
you're
mean?
good.
Like, I don't
Please do.
understand.
Yes.
I don't understand the
Mm-hmm.
miseducation of our children at the moment and the lowering of the
Mm-mm.
standards, the lowering of the
Mm-hmm.
expectations. You don't lower expectations, you shift the way that you
No.
teach. You shift the way that you work
Mm-hmm.
because the society is different.
Right.
Society is ever
Right.
changing. Society is ever
Mm-hmm.
evolving. And so for you to
Mm-hmm.
anticipate kids to sit in a classroom for 8 hours when they have a phone right
Yes.
here that can tell them
Mm-hmm.
everything they
Yeah.
need to know, and then you expect them to still be here with
Mm-hmm.
you. It doesn't work
Right.
that way, so
No.
we need better.
And I
Larry
love your
Cox.
Yes. Yes. But we need Larry Cox. I'm gonna have him later on the show tonight. So
Awesome.
yep, Larry Cox and Denise Venez is going to join me later tonight at 5 o'clock for a round table to get out the vote because we need both of them in. It's time for change. I mean, Oz has been here for 16 years and
And
has done nothing. The
anybody,
longer he's been in here, the more ego he has.
that's what I was going to say. Anyone
Mm-hmm.
that sits at any appointed
Yep.
or voted in position for 16 years, there's a reason why Russia's trying to get Stalin out, or not Stalin, I'm sorry, Putin out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because
Yes.
after so long, there's this need for power. It's this crave for power, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I felt. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I was being talked to a human being. I felt like I was being tamed.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to let me know I'm in control without saying so frequently. And if you notice how he treated George after the fact, let me tell you, George is one of the sweetest human beings
Right.
I've ran
Same thing.
across.
Yeah.
He is
Yes, he
amazing
is.
for our
Mm-hmm.
community, amazing for the environment. He's always working.
Mm-hmm.
He's always working. He's always on the move
Mm-hmm.
trying to do what's right
Yeah.
for our water supply and our soil. And for a county
Mm-hmm.
commissioner to give him that little
Yes.
respect, that should let you know his time is up.
Mm-hmm.
It is time. He's
Yeah.
done his service and he's
Yeah.
lost his heart to
Mm-hmm.
serve. You are not running the
Yeah.
county. You work in together with other people to keep the county moving, but you serve this
Mm-hmm.
county. You are a public servant voted in by
Mm-hmm.
taxpayers, right? And then you even get to control your own
Mm-hmm.
income, right?
Right.
You just gave yourself an increase.
Right.
But
Yeah.
my taxes,
I mean that. I wish that'd
my
be nice. I
taxes
wish I
are
could do
going
that.
up, right? My taxes are going up.
Mm-hmm.
My
His
mortgage
is
has
going
increased.
down. I don't know if you've seen
We
that
moved
sign.
here.
His went down.
It's crazy. We moved here in
Yeah.
2021 and our mortgage has increased almost $400 because of the tax
Okay.
increase. Now, for someone that can't afford that, that
Mm.
could easily be someone losing their home. That's a huge jump in 3 years.
Yes.
$400 a
Mm-hmm.
month
Yeah.
taxes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that,
Mm-hmm.
my kids don't utilize your schools because they're subpar. And now you've allowed developers to come in and
Mm-hmm.
destroy my foundation of my home. Yes, sir, you're doing too much and it's time for you to take a step back.
Yeah. Right. So that's what I'm here for this my chatting it up with CJ, and I got a website, and I'm trying to bring the people together. That's what we need
Yes.
right now is unity, not division. And they're even doing it with the political parties right now. They're trying to divide the people over political parties, and it's not about the party; it's about the person.
In this day and age, if you are still holding on to political affiliation, you are crazy. I don't care which
Mm-hmm.
side of the fence you're on.
Right.
I'm one of those people who are truly like
Actually,
two
for
wings.
local politics, anyway.
Listen, two wings of the same bird is what I'm going to tell you. They just pander to the
Mm-hmm.
opposite ends of the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
but they're on the same body, headed in the same direction.
Right.
So, paying attention to that is
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary. We should be all, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green
Yes.
Party. Listen, I prefer a Green Party approach,
Mm-hmm.
anyways. Okay, environment, the
Hey,
people.
there you
That's
go.
me, right? But I still
Mm-hmm.
vote for Democrats
Right.
when I see that they can do so. I still vote for
Mm-hmm.
Republicans when I see
Right.
that that's what needs to happen.
Right. It's about the
Because at the
person.
end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
if you stick only to the party, that is how you get people in here that knows that no matter what, as long as
Mm-hmm.
it's a Democratic run and they're going up against somebody of the other
Mm-hmm.
party, they'll continue to win. And that's dangerous on any side for any
Yeah.
party affiliation. I don't care
Yeah.
who it is, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about once we get the new administration in, which I feel we are, because both sides have the momentum and to
Yes.
win. So let's talk about change once we get in. What are your thoughts on that and how we can do change through then?
The
And I
first
will
thing
work
that
with
needs
you as
to
well.
happen is a moratorium on all the building that's happening currently. See where they
Yes.
are,
Mm-hmm.
get to running some environmental impact studies, right? To see if they continue,
Mm-hmm.
what would happen. And then if you allow them to continue to watch and continue in the moment that you see an issue,
Mm-hmm.
you pause, right? And take care of the issue if it can. If it can't,
Yeah.
as a county, we have to figure out another way because we can't. Sinkholes are dangerous. When you have homes and cars starting to
Yeah.
fall into, it can be a dangerous situation. Secondary, I want to see different types of businesses coming in. Okay, I
Oh
want
yeah.
to see more
Mm-hmm. Small
more for
businesses. Yeah.
these, not just the little kids. I'm telling you, middle schoolers
Mm-hmm.
and high schoolers get overlooked. They get overlooked
Yeah.
tremendously,
Yeah, they
and then
do.
you
Yeah.
wonder why
Mm-hmm.
kids always are complacent about things, right? There
Mm-hmm.
are so many different community
Yeah.
activities that we can be putting on for these kids in this community. It's amazing community with
Yes.
amazing resources. Another thing I want to
Mm-hmm.
see is our career center that we have for the public school systems to be
Yes.
integrated into the actual schools, not on a separate building,
Mm.
but to integrate those programs into the actual schools from K through 12. Because you can start with the
Okay.
basics. kids are sponges.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you. And as long as
Yeah.
you teach them along the way, you would be surprised what a 4 and a 5 year old understands and is able to do.
Oh yeah.
Right. So if you have more hands on
Mm-hmm.
learning, not going to a specific building, but bringing it into, and then
Mm-hmm.
engaging parents more into the learning, into the growth, not just of the community, but of the school board, and,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing more cohesiveness between the county and the city of Conyers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another thing
Mm.
that we really
Yeah.
need is
Yeah.
representatives. We need more representatives for residents of the county. See,
Yeah.
Conyers residents have councilmen, they have a
They do.
mayor, and then they
Mm-hmm.
also have their own county or city ordinance. If you reside in the
Mm-hmm.
county, there is no one in between you and
Mm-mm.
the commissioners to speak
Nope.
for you. We have no representation, so we have to fight for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. So, city residents,
Right.
they vote for our county people, right? Not realizing that you
Mm-hmm.
control
Yeah.
who our representatives. That's all we have to deal with. You have to take into
Mm-hmm.
consideration
Yeah.
what is the overall picture here and how many people are being affected, and is it truly, forget the color, forget the
Mm-hmm.
forget the color of the party, forget the color of the
Yeah.
skin, forget the color of
Mm-hmm.
everything, and look at truly what you
Yes, ma'am.
see. Look at truly what you
Yep.
hear, because none of this is going to
Mm-hmm.
be sustainable. None of it. And
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at destruction. Growth does not mean destruction, and that's all we're seeing right now is destruction.
Yeah. And I hate to see that because this is a wonderful county. It's like I said, it's the second smallest county landmass wise, and we really shouldn't have like 100,000 residents right now. Because when I look at other counties, like you said, you're from where was it? Michigan.
I'm
I'm
from,
sure there's some
yeah.
counties in there that they don't
Oh
even have
yeah.
100,000 residents.
Oh yeah.
So
Listen, let me tell
I
you,
mean,
most of Michigan is less than 100,000 residents. I'm gonna tell you that.
see,
And so my little
yeah,
town that I come from is a suburb of Grand Rapids area, and well, not that I come
mm-hmm,
from, but that I moved here from, and it was roughly about 60,000. And
yeah,
like I said, it was less than 3% people of color. If you took all the black,
mm,
brown, Asian, Native American, put us all together, Middle Eastern, less than
mm-hmm,
3%, fully Republican. And and again, I have no party affiliations. I don't consider
right,
myself
right,
a Democrat. I don't consider myself a Republican. However, I am truly what people, I don't consider myself a liberal, but that's what people would call me.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Really interesting.
I'm a liberal.
Yeah,
I have both. I have
hey,
both. Oh yeah, I've been listen, I am for the
mm-hmm,
people 100%, and that's why I'm called a liberal. Hey, that's fine by me
mm.
because I will respect
Well, I
everybody.
like
I don't
that we
ego.
can talk together.
Yeah,
I just like when we
yeah,
can talk together and still be friends. There's some people that are
of
just so far right
course.
and so far left that you don't want to even talk to the person.
Here's the thing, at the end of the day, far left, far right, that's all political. You have to remove
Mm-hmm.
politics and social norms and social constructs from humanity.
Yeah.
And that is why humanity right now
Mm-hmm.
is struggling, because we have put so many self
Yes.
imposed social constructs based off of beliefs that really were created by man, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period, point blank.
Yep.
So as long as I can
Mm-hmm.
respect you, you can respect me, and we can come together for
Right.
the good
Right.
or better of everyone, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it should
Yep.
be, regardless, even with the
Right.
politicians, you know?
Right. And that's one thing I want to work on too. Again, is bringing people together, white and black, and then also for the young kids, I want to. I watched this one, and this was from Rockdale County, and I was like so upset with that because with the cops, with that the black youth are afraid of them. I want to bring a solution together where they're not afraid. They need to learn what the cops and police do, so next time they interact with them, they will not be afraid.
Now, that is actually speaking right up my alley. I actually,
Mm-hmm.
before I moved here, was working directly with our police chief because Black people were
Mm-hmm.
actually truly getting police called on them every time they came through our very white town. And it was usually a lot of harassment. And it took
Mm-hmm.
me 10 years to break down those barriers between my family and those coming into the community and the police. But at the end of it, I mean, I had the mayor, the police chief, we were holding community
Mm-hmm.
events where we can talk, sit down, and have,
Yep.
ask a police officer, ask a sheriff,
Yes.
where the community can really just sit down and congregate. Because once you really
Right.
get to breaking it down, both sides have a duty in this to correct the issue. Both sides. It
Right.
goes on both sides of the
Mm-hmm.
table. We as the community have to tear down our walls and actually speak and let them know what we need from them. And they need to be willing to listen, and then
Right.
they need to let us know what they need from us as the community as well, because that goes both ways,
Right.
right? Everything,
I
communication
have the
goes both ways.
connections, and I
Let's do it.
yes, they do.
Let's
Yes,
do it.
I have those connections, and I would like to work with you and get the young people together as well, and we'll have a community town hall meeting with the chief of police and the sheriff. I can get the sheriff out, and we can talk about that, and even the
Absolutely.
mayor.
I'm down
Yes,
for
ma'am.
it.
So this
Absolutely.
is what this show is all about: bringing people together and letting people learn about the community and learn how to operate within it, and that way we can become a better, stronger community.
That's all it takes. It's about the community. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
mentioned something about Rockdale being a business earlier in that meeting. And that just didn't sit right with
Mm-hmm.
me. We have business operations,
Yeah.
but this is a very much so a community. It's not a business. Rockdale County is not a
Mm-hmm.
business. There are business operations, but it's
Yeah.
just the county is only the borderlines for state purposes. It's the people that makes it.
Right.
So if you can have all the buildings in
Mm-hmm.
the world, but treating your people like they do not matter and they do not exist, all for the mighty dollar
Mm-hmm.
or for contracts or whatever it is, backhand
Yeah.
payoffs or incentives. I don't know. I can't speak on why
Mm-hmm.
they're choosing to make these contract agreements that are very scarce, if you know what I mean. They're very
Yeah.
bare bones,
Mm-hmm.
so that there's no liability
Right.
for these developers or the county. And they know that
Yeah.
county officials have immunity here in Georgia, and that's not normally the case in every
Mm-hmm.
state. This is one of those few states where county
Right.
officials not only have immunity, but they also have
Mm-hmm.
very little oversight when it comes to these developments. I've reached out to
Right.
Denise
And that's one thing.
hmm
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I reached out all the way up to Denise Simpson with the constituent services at the Lieutenant Governor's office,
Mm-hmm.
and she literally just kind of laid it out that they're learning that right now we're in a crisis with the overbuild and no oversight, no actual rules or regulations on a state level to pass down to the counties on what they must do as they are creating these developers agreement. That is the agreement between the
Right.
landowner, the developer, and the local government.
Well, that's one
They're
thing
very
that's
serious.
been talked about too. That the board is ignoring the planning and zoning commission. They will not approve it, but then go ahead and approve it themselves. They're like, okay, so what's the point of the planning and zoning if you're not going to abide by it? And that's one thing Janice is going to do too, is bring in an ethics board for her. Before she left
That was
office,
gonna
she
be my
did.
next statement. That's because there's no
Right.
ethics board, right? And
Right.
wait, I
Right.
pull that back. There is an ethics board.
It is.
It's just
Yeah.
not seated. No
Right.
one is. They refuse to
Right.
seat
Right.
anyone on it, and that is the other mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking for an ethics board.
Right.
We have one, and then I realized we have one, but no one's
Mm-hmm.
ever been seated on it.
Nobody's on it.
And so, and so that's the other thing that
Yeah.
needs to happen in the next administration is we definitely
Mm-hmm.
need an ethics and
Yep.
oversight and a citizens oversight board.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing: we need citizens oversight outside of the
Mm-hmm.
actual county and city officials. That's just period, point blank.
Right.
There has to be some type of
I mean,
oversight.
if we're going to stick with the 3 commissioners and not go to 5, if we're going to stick with 3, we need to have that citizens oversight so we can have maybe at least a voice so that we can get to the right people that we need to get right into.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I appreciate you coming on. I don't want to take up much of your time. I know you got 5 kids to take care of. I'm sure they're out running around having a good time. But
They got the sprinklers
but I
going
appreciate
right
you coming on again. Hey, it's on my thermometer right now. It says 98 degrees.
Yeah, they're going out there. We have a pool, but because of all the The water issues, we have not put it up. We're just like, we don't even want to deal with them trying to skate on liability.
Yeah.
We're just, it's like we're so paused right now, and we're still trying to help.
Yeah.
Like I said, the former fire chief, his wife has had no help with damages.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get her damages
That's
taken care of
outrageous.
because he passed away in November. And so that's just kind of where we are. But I appreciate you for inviting me on. Again, no matter where we sit on the spectrum of this politics game, because that's what it is. It's a game. That's leave the politic game to them, and let's worry about the community and the people. We can all have different ideas and beliefs, but we live amongst each other. And one thing that connects us is that we all have humanity, and the issues that we're seeing are going to be dire issues of humanity, and that's what we need to pay attention to. So I thank you for giving me a platform and a voice, and for inviting me today.
Yes. You're always welcome back here. Like again, I'll keep in contact with you, and maybe after all this election stuff is gone, we can put up something with the chief and sheriff and have like a round table for the young kids to come and ask their questions and everything.
Absolutely. You have a great evening.
Appreciate working with you. All right, you too. You have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.